is the God factor. The God factor is none other than two things. Either you believe in God or you don't believe in God. And our show is not based on trying to prove different theories or make a person change their way of thought. We just present the evidence. We depend upon the Holy Spirit of God to lead and guide each individual to make a decision of their own. Friends of Justice has always been a program that is based around information of all sorts of things. And these things go to help support society in an unusual way. And we fight justice in the most unusual way, a positive way, by giving people the information they need to live by and to deal with the injustices that occur every day. Now you might ask yourself, is it any real need for us to talk about justice in a world that's so corrupt? Well, let me tell you, the world is not going to get any better. And that's why our co-host today, we're going to be talking about a number of things, a number of signs that this world is coming to an end. And I hope that you can really pick up on something and learn some things and examine for yourself. We want to stir your research taste, your research bug in you to go out and do some research and test to see what we're talking about. Now, what is, Andre, what are some of the things that's going around today about some date in 2012? What's happening? What is that all about? Tell me about it. Inform me.
Okay, there's a lot of things what's to inform you guys about it, and it's really also doesn't even matter on you believe it or not. Mm-hmm. It will happen no matter what. So it's really, I don't care if people believe it. It's really happening, and it's really scientific, and it's also told by God. Pre-told certain things will happen. And let's examine. 2012, December 21st, 2012 was calculated by Mayans. So all of a sudden Mayans come up with the idea what's in 2012 there's some kind of end date. Then before I knew about Mayans, it's, oh my goodness, I was in 3rd grade in Russia. So my teacher gave me an assignment, just like little school, saying, write about the future event. Mm-hmm. So me went and sit with my uncle, and he was all in technology and everything. So I was reading the little magazines. And in that little magazine, it was saying, what's in 2012, there will be parade of planets. Mm-hmm. Which means all the planets are lining up in one line, directly from sun. Okay. And I wrote it, I got a D. I got a whooping from my dad and everything, because it wasn't supposed to, because they didn't know. Of course, they thought I was just coming up with some stuff. And I couldn't explain, of course, but I knew it was truth. So then later on, when I'm already in the United States, some reason this date is just popping up. And I was like, man, I got to do more little research, since I was digging into the Revelation and seeing a lot of signs what's supposed to happen right before he comes. And I knew before Jesus Christ comes, there's a certain events happening, like 7 last plagues. Mm-hmm. It happens right before Jesus Christ comes back. What happened before plagues? The actual Antichrist comes right before that.
Well, now, you're going pretty fast.
It is,
there's
but
a lot of information there.
I need to line it up a little bit of the information, because we're going to be coming back and specifically dealing with every one of those issues.
Okay. But there was some talk in 1844 that those some signs had already occurred, like the stars fell from the heavens. So many stars that you could read the newspaper. In fact, I have my favorite book here, Ripley's Believe It or Not, because half the things in this world that's told to us, we don't believe it, and the other half we do believe. You either believe or you don't. I also have my other favorite book here. This is the Clear Word Bible. It's centered around the Bible. And both of these books require you to believe, because in most cases we weren't around. But the interesting fact is that in Ripley's Believe It or Not, they talk about a date when the stars did fall.
Yes,
So
of course it
it
is.
seems like it might have been true.
It did.
Did that occur? Let me see. If I may be able to find it later on, but it is in here.
It's 100% it happened before, but also it will happen in the future.
Uh-huh.
Because a lot of people don't even know about 10th planet in our solar system called Nibiru. You know, who am I to tell you? Go and ask NASA or go to European space program and just type it in, Nibiru, on the Google, and find out how much information is about it. It's a planet which was collided with planet Tiamat, according to Anunnaki, and was thrusted into the long elliptical orbit around the sun, which lasted 3,600 years. So every 3,600 years, it shows up right between Mars and Jupiter, and just passes through the asteroid belt. Well, since we know it's a planet, it has magnetic field, it will drag a lot of asteroids behind. And so when that planet passes, we still gotta divert all those asteroids. We will see thousands and thousands of those little asteroids fall. It's still to come as well. But in 1844, there was a prophecy about 2,300 days and nights. And at that time, the temple was supposed to be cleared. And our fellow believers really they were trying to speed up the process of Jesus' coming. So they come up with this date because they knew the date of the beginning, when it was the degree of the building of the Jerusalem. So they calculate from that time, it come up to 1844. So they thought that Jesus was going to come in 1844, not understanding what in 1844 temple was cleared. Meaning,
But now I need to interrupt you a little bit because I thought it was told us that no man would know the hour of his coming.
oh man, you just touched something else.
Okay.
Did you know what's no man know the hour is actually a specific time?
Okay.
It's when the moon, after all the 4 years of cycles according to the lunar calendar, there is a period sometimes of 48 hours before the new moon comes up.
Right.
And that time is actually called what no man knows, the hour.
Okay.
So it could be actually pointed out at the specific hour when he's returning. Not like I said, I'm not trying to pinpoint when the date of the Jesus Christ coming. We might not know. But the dates when plagues begins or some other events, why not? Did no one knew about the day when to walk into the ark? How did he know?
Right. Well, let me ask you something. How important is it to be able to understand these signs? Should a person really be concerned? Because we have new technology. We're improving life in lots of ways where we can live longer. Should we worry about this world coming to an end or this destruction that the so-called believers believe in?
Well, take a look. There is again the factor. Those ones who wish and don't want to believe in God, they make God laugh because they're making their own plans. They're thinking their plans will succeed. Well, I'm sorry, but everything going to happen according to the God's plan, for the simple reason all the rest of the prophecy, what's written in the Bible, already happened. And you can go in the history and actually compare the dates. For you viewers, you really need to go into the prophecycode.com. Just type it in prophecy code and find out all the Bible symbols. Because each symbol means something in the Bible. And it's translated right in the Bible. So you don't have to guess when you read the Daniel or Revelation what the beast means, what the dragon means, what the woman means, what the water means. You have to know those things before you really start studying the prophecy. Otherwise, that Revelation, it's like a Harry Potter book. You don't understand because there's some kind of magic happening and you don't grasp what's the author really talks about it.
Okay.
Because Jesus Christ when he came to the disciples, he was always talking in parables. And he said, to you is given in parables. You know, what the seeing may not see and the hearing may not understand. So if you're not looking for God, you will never understand these things. Because it's again that God factor, which you were talking about, is not there. And they're not trying to save themselves. They're making that choice themselves. Nobody twisting their arms. But many people say, no, it's just then God knows about everything. He knows if I'm saved or not. Well, yeah, he does, but it's still, he knew the choices you're going to make, but those choices you had to make.
Well, I came across a revelation myself of something that was I had known for a while, and I really didn't know it, but I used to wonder what it meant to be born again. And then it was like a voice told me and explained it to me, okay? Because at the time we're born, okay, birth is just like anything like this tree. We plant it and we expect to get a fruit tree of some sort. If it's a fig tree, we don't look for bananas, right? So the thing is, it is what it was when you planted it, right? And so it doesn't change as it grows. So I said, well, how is a person going to change? And I was like Nicodemus.
Yep.
Do we go back into the womb and be born all over again?
You can try it,
but it won't work because he's not really talking about the fleshy body. He's talking that at birth we have two. We're born with two things at birth, two distinct things: a body and a mind. Now, some people are not fortunate to have all of their mind, and of course, they're not going to go very far. But for us, the normal people have, they're in the right mind, when they're born, okay, even though babies act the way they're supposed to act. But so as that baby mind is selfish, it grows up being selfish, and that fleshy body grows up being fleshy and the kind that dies. If we don't take a bath every day, we'll smell like dead flesh because we are dying, okay? And so then it brought to light what God was saying, okay? You must be born again. And that means that mind, that spiritual mind, has to be reborn. That's the only one that can be reborn, actually. Okay, because he's going to change the other one in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. That's what the Bible said. Okay. But of course, you have to believe that. Okay, but so now I can see that once we're reborn again, we can be planted as a fruit seed, instead of tare. We won't be wheat. I mean, we won't be tare, but we'll be wheat. And so that's how that happens. But being born again is very important. But now, how does a person get born again anyway in this type of society?
Well, let's figure it out.
Yeah, a lot of things happening.
You just said something very interesting, because before you get born again, you actually get seed planted in you.
Right.
Okay? Well, let's go back to the basics, growing stuff. Before you plant the seed, what do you have to do?
You have to till the ground.
Till the ground. So that means all this good-looking ground have to be turned upside down before you can stick that seed in there.
Right.
And you can't just put it on top of it. It has to really go in.
That's right.
And cover with it all that soil. So let's talk about, let's say I come to you and your ground is your own belief.
Right.
Okay, so before this seed has to be planted, that means everything you know had to be
so I have
turn around.
I have to die to myself.
Kinda. I mean, everything which you knew about you, it becomes an illusion. And you now really start looking for the truth, which is God.
Okay.
And that's the only truth we have.
Okay.
And the only way you will find out about this truth is by two things.
How's that?
What Satan hates the most. I hope you all know what Satan hates the most. He hates 10 commandments and he hates prophecy. Because 10 commandments, it shows you the way we're supposed to live.
Okay.
But the prophecy proves you what God exists. Because who would know